So, hello guys. Today we'll be explaining about Git commands. So, first of all, we have to I'll be explaining you repository. So, forget local types of repository. So, what is repository? The main question will be that. So, repository is nothing but a location where you can actually have a track of all the files which you are keeping. So, when it so simply you just have a folder just like in your in your computer or could be in a server. So what happens is if that place acts as a register or something where you eventually have all the access to see whatever the changes you are making, update it, and track all the files which are being modified and all other stuff, then that is called as a repository. And now we'll go to types of repositories. So basically there are two types of repositories. One is local, which is nothing but you don't need any internet connection to do this. All you have to do is you have to have your Git terminal installed, like Git SF, which we have told in the previous classes. So you have to have that tool installed in your computer, and this local repository will be simply like a folder. So in a folder you will initialize it, and after that whatever the changes you are making, that will be tracked automatically within that particular repository. So since it doesn't need any internet connection, it stores in your local computer only. So we call it as local repository. And the second one is called remote repository. So simply it's the opposite of local. You need to have internet connection, and you will actually update it to a particular server. You can call it server or a platform or anything. So GitHub is one of them. So this GitHub thing, and previously I've shown you some other things like Bitbucket as well. So these are our platforms. So in any platform you can just upload your code, considering you create a remote repository. So you will create the repository over server and you will connect it from your local repository to remote repository, and that's how you can have all the changes being updated to that remote thing. So we will directly go to the command. So whatever the commands which will be shown right now, these are very important because of only one reason. Like we only use these commands. Most of the commands which are present, we don't basically use them. Even though if you wanted to learn, you can learn it as well. I'll tell you the link at the end of this class. So we basically use some commands, not more. So the first and foremost command which we basically use in GitHub, in Git tool, is called git init. So let me, I hope you all are trying it on your devices as well, like while you are listening to this class. If you don't, better practice it later, because we'll have this session recorded as well. 1 second, I think. Yeah. So I'm just creating a folder name as
Nani, I guess your screen is not visible.
not visible.
Is it for me or anyone everyone else is not able to see?
It is not visible.
It is not visible.
You could have told me before. Oh shit. Hey, what is happening here? Can you see it now?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Sorry for that. So I don't know what had happened, but the thing is it didn't work. So I'll start it. So we are going to the git command thing. So the first thing is, what is a repository? Repository is nothing but a local place where all the files are being tracked. So we have basically two types of repositories. One is local, where you will work on only your system and within your computer. You don't actually go on to some particular server and store there. So that is called as local. So in GitHub or any other where server manages, in that there won't be any updates because you are just working within your computer. And remote repository is nothing but a repository, a folder which tracks files. That's called repository. So the remote repository is nothing but this kind of repository which we create locally, that will be created within the server. So there will be a server which actually be working, which actually be connected to your local repository, so that you could just work on. Prashant, 1 second, Prashant, I'll just come back. Just a second. You can just have a look.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, guys, here I wanted to ask you a question, like out of this, since already I have demonstrated you the basic commands which are used in building a repository, and even I showed you in the last class how to push one online. But still, I didn't found all of your repositories online, right? Because we are into a common community organization. If you push anything, everyone will get to know about it, right? So if it's not done in the previous class, I wanted you guys to do it today or by tomorrow, right?
Sorry guys for that small interruption. So where are we? Yep. So remote repository is something where you have a server where you'll update all your code. So these commands, like we'll start with the local repository command, where you don't need any server to work on, like you don't use GitHub for local repositories because you have your own computer to do that. So these commands are very important, and I'm expecting like you're practicing while you are doing this. But if you are unable to do it because of any connectivity issues or due to any reason, if you are unable to practice it now, this since this session is being recorded, you can try it later on as well. But the thing is, you need to have a grip on these commands because these are the core commands which are required. So first thing is called git init. Let me just show you. Let me just make it bigger text. Yep. So let me just create a new folder called Apple. Something Apple. So, yep. This is the folder which I have created right now. Let me just enable hidden files as well. So can any of you see any files over there? Nice. So right now I'm opening a terminal with this, with the path of that particular folder. So what I'm doing is I'm just typing the first command. Where did it go? Yeah. So the first command is git init, right? So what it actually does is, since there is no repository, I have all you can see here is just a folder. So to make this folder to track files, what are the other files that we are basically working on? So to track them, we need to convert this folder into a repository. So that is the reason we use a command called git init. So when I type in this command and I click on enter, so it is actually creating an empty, it is saying, right, initialized empty git repository. So it is not connected to anything, it is just creating an empty repository. Repository is nothing but, I told you, right, which tracks. So it is helping us to create a folder. It creates a folder which actually tracks each and everything which is being happened within that particular folder and its subfolders also. So when I open this thing, you can see branches. So I'll explain you after some, during this session itself. So whenever we create branches, that will be here. So config is nothing but, it is just saying what is the version of repository, is it file or is it any basic text. Bare is nothing but, is it raw data or are we having any particular format. Like for example, even though you look, it might feel like you are typing A, B, C, D over here, each and every letter is actually a binary digit, right? So if you directly use binary numbers, so that is called as raw data, and that regarding that information will be stored within this config. Description is nothing but whatever we put, like there is no description here. Whenever we put one, it will happen. So this is one of the most important files, because this will point to the, since there are no files here and I have created a git repository. So what happens is the head will be this empty folder, and each and every file when I update it, that will be added as a node. Let me just open any paint, MS Paint. Okay, I don't think this is going to help me out now. So yep. So sorry for my bad handwriting. I'm not good at using MS Paint now. So basically, when I have typed that command called git init, so what it is basically doing is, since the folder has nothing, so it will basically create a tree. It will basically create a tree with 0 files. 0 0 files, and whenever I start adding a file or deleting a file or modifying anything, it will actually create each and every instance. For example, this is the particular place where I have added one file, and this might be the thing where I have deleted a file, and this might be the one where it actually creates a tree for each and every update that is being happening. So that is the reason it is actually being tracking. So the way it tracks is nothing but it creates a tree where you will have a n number of files. For each file you will have different kinds of head. Head is nothing but, considering this thing, this whole tree, this is the head, and considering this thing, this is the head. So basically head is nothing but it refers to the head main point where the branches are being started. So that will be the main file. This will be the main file for that kind of tracking. So this hook, info, object references, these are just it is too high level for explaining right now, because we are basically on how to use GitHub and stuff, but not how GitHub works or how Git works. So I'll be just explaining you. So when I type on git init, it is actually creating a tree with this particular folder name, with this particular folder as the main repository. Each and every update which I do will start reflecting within that particular tree as a new node being added. So creates an empty repository you're working on. This is not connected to any other service like GitHub or something. And now we go to git add. Is this git init clear for you all? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
bro.
bro.
Yep.
Yes, bro.
Thanks. So next we are going to git add. So git add is nothing but simply it adds each and every file that you are updating. For example, let me just show you. Gedit a.a and aa. So I have created one file within this particular repository. So from now onwards, since it is initialized by using git init, you should not call this as just a folder. You should call it as a repository, because that is the thing which actually does, right? So it actually tracks files, so it should be called as a repository. So I've created a file called a.a. Now I'll create a file .b.b. Yep. So I have two files right now. This command I'll explain you in the next thing. So right now I have these two files which are not yet added into this Git repository. So they might be within that particular folder, but considering the repository thing, it is not yet added. That is the reason it says as untracked files. So I'm not tracking any of these files because they were newly created and they are not yet added into this particular repository. That is the reason. See, here it is saying, he is suggesting also use git add and file names to include in what will be committed. So what happens is, when you use git add command and when you type on each and every file, or when you use the this regular expression thing called dot, it actually adds all the files present over there into that particular repository. So let me just add one file, git add a.a. So I just added, see here. So right now, in the previous thing, the files were created within that particular folder, but they are not being tracked by git tool, I mean that repository, because they were not added to that thing. But now I told it to add this particular a.a file into its own repository. So what it is doing, it is just adding that, and it started tracking it. So started tracking in the sense, it just added that file and it is ready to track it. So when we use the command called git commit, I'll just show you it now. So when we use that particular command, so what happens is, then it will start tracking each and every thing, like number of lines, how many of them are deleted, how many of them are being added, new number of lines within the code. All other stuff will be tracked when we actually do commit. So we are saying you just commit this thing, so whatever the changes which are happened, those are being committed successfully. So if I try, since I have this file also, let me just add it. So git add b.b. Let me just check the status. Yep, now it's sounded good. So we have added both the files and we can just we can start tracking now. So let me just go to the next command. Yeah, so once an empty repository is created, then we can start adding, modifying, or deleting, killing the files. Okay, cool. Anyways, so we actually do those kind of things with files, so that's why I put it. So all of these are tracked automatically by git by using this command. If you don't use this command, they won't be tracked. So remember this thing. So whenever you add a new file into a particular repository, you have to use git add, and let me just remove these files because yep. Now since I have used the manual type where I have to add git add a.a, git add b.b. What if I have 1000 files which are being generated by the compiler itself? So we can use this command git add dot. What dot does is, let me just show you. cd is nothing but ls, that's nothing but list files and all other stuff within that. So when I use dot, whatever the files are there within that particular folder, that will be shown. So dot is nothing but it references to the same folder. That is the reason I'm using git add dot. So when I use dot, it is referencing to the same folder, and whatever the files present, whatever the folders present over there, that will be added into the repository directly. So when I do this command, now when I check status by using git status command, see, both the files are being added. So you can add in the same way, git add a.a, b.b, c.c, any file name with extension as well. You can add in that way, or you can directly use git add dot, so which adds all the files within that particular folder. For now we'll call it repository. So you're clear with this command also, right? I hope so. So next command is nothing but git commit. So this is the most important command after git add and git init, because we basically did three things right now. First thing is, we have created a repository by using git init. Next thing, we have added files using git add, and now we have to confirm that changes, saying that we have added these files and these files are meant to be added in your repository. So we'll use git commit. So for this command we basically use one parameter called -m, which is nothing but giving a message. So this is very, I mean, this message helps you in understanding like what have you done in this new update. For example, for now there are only 2 files. Since I didn't do any changes, like I just created new files, but there was no purpose, so I'll consider it as initial commit. So what it does is it will just show me. So I have made a commit, initial commit with this. This is automatically generated. I'll tell you while I was explaining this thing. So initial commit is the message which tells me that I have added a particular change, like I have committed something for this description. Like it gives me clear, right? Like why did you use comments in code? To understand the code better. In the same way, you will use git commit with a message, so you can understand that you made this commit to that particular repository for this thing. So let me just remove a file, rm.a. Now I have only b.b. If I check the status now, see here. So I have deleted one file which was being tracked before. So right now, if I do this thing like git commit with a message, I hate it. I hate a.a. So I'm just using a normal thing, but you have to use it professionally, because when you work in a company, they don't prefer using I hate a.a. b.b looks silly like. So I don't prefer using in that way. I was just using this just to show you an example. But in professional companies and corporate style, they basically use a clear descriptive, like in a short way, to tell what is being happened over. So now I did git commit I hate a.a. It will show me an error. See, because even though I have removed a file, right? But the thing is, I didn't tell the git repository to that I have deleted that file, and you don't need to track it again. So what we can do is git rm a.a. Since I have deleted that file from the folder, now I have to remove that file from repository also. So now when I do the git commit command, I hate a.a. Now see here, it has updated successfully. Now when I use this command, so what I did right now, so I used git commit command and I made a particular change in the first time, saying that this was my first commit, initial commit, and after that one I have changed a particular file, or I have changed some particular text, and I need to understand why I did. So I have put the message again and I made the second commit. So second commit is also being tracked. So this is how. So basically GitHub, the main reason we use GitHub is nothing but when I make a mistake, I should go back to the previous one without actually messing up the whole code. That is the reason we basically use GitHub or any other tools. So this is the way that we actually check each and everything. So this is the first commit and this is the second commit. So did you understand, guys? Git commit and git
Nani, Harshavardhan asked a question in the message section.
Okay.
Can we directly perform commit without adding the files into the indexing area without the add function?
Okay.
Would you like to take it, Nani, or should
you explain it, George?
Yeah. So Harsha, the thing is, while I write the add command, there is
1
an
hour
area inside the Git which is called indexing or staging area.
So
Basically, what it does is keeps all the files in an order, right? Until unless you put files into an index, those files can't be tracked. So the moment you add the files into the index, then you perform a commit on it. And what is the actual meaning of commit is you are taking a screenshot of that code, and you can take the screenshot of the code only when the code is added into the tracking area, right? When your system knows that there is some new file in the system, only then your system can take the present appearance of that code and save it into its database. So that's where the system of rollback comes into action. Through the commit, it can just commit which are you there, Harsha? Cool.
So thank you, Prashant, for clarifying this thing. So I'll just say it in a one word. So the answer is no. Simple. So when we commit it, as what Prashant said, we will take a screenshot of it. From then it will start tracking. So if we just add it, since we are just adding it without committing, you can add files, but they won't be tracked. When you commit it, only then it can understand that this file is being added, and then it can be tracked. So yep. So I was not actually focusing on the chat window because I don't have any dual monitor or something. So consider, I'm just watching the PPT as all of you are watching also. So I'd better prefer people speaking right away instead of putting it on chat. But not a problem. If you wanted to use chat, you can use it. Someone can intimate me about that. So this is the worst way of explaining something, but I did it anyways. So what we actually do is when I use git init commit, so git init command, so a folder will be added with additional folders like which you have seen .git folder. So they won't be seen normally. So let me just show you. Yep, you are seeing this .git folder actually, but the thing is it is a hidden file. When I basically remove that show hidden file text, it won't be seen. But the thing is all files will be present there, and that is how you will get to know like there is something git folder within it, and that is the reason it is being tracked. That is the reason I just put it. So a folder will be considered as local repository. It will converted when we use that particular git init command. So basically when you use git terminal within your Windows system, I think Prashant have shown in the previous class as well. So when you use git init, instead of showing this slash folder, it will start showing master in the bracket with blue color, which clearly represents that particular folder has been converted into the repository, and you are at the master branch, which is nothing but the main branch where where it is being tracked. So yep, I am using git add and git commit command. So I'll just show you. So working directory is where you will add your code. Basically for now, local git repository and working directory are same in our case. So in working directory where your project is actually struggling, to be honest, where you will be struggling for your project, and when you type git add, so it actually adds all the changed files which might be additions or deletions or any other files. Those files will be in a particular area called staging area. So in this particular area you can do two things. One thing, you can use git commit. You can use git commit and commit all the changes to repository, or you can use git space rm to remove all the files within the staging area, so they won't be tracked. Okay guys, so once you have used git commit command, all the files will be added to the local git repository which you have created, and voila, so all the files will be tracked, and whatever the changes you make, that will be shown right away. So git status, so it's simple. If git adds particular files, if git commit commits a file, so what does git status do? It will show the status. So in my terminal I have used git status a lot of times. I'll start. Yep. So first of all, I've created two files, forget that thing. So when I use the git status initially, it is showing as untracked files. So if there are any untracked files, it will show them, like see here, untracked files will be shown here. Whatever the track, I mean which are to be committed, will be shown here. And once if any committed files are there, that will be shown later on. Let me just type git status again. Since there are no changes right now, it is saying as nothing to commit. So all the tracking files are not there, no changes has been done within the thing, and the tree is clean. There were no updations, right? So there was no problem. And on branch master, so we'll use this command to create different branches, which I have shown you during that. At the end of the session, I've shown you a diagram, right, where people are actually copying different colors. You can see. So that is nothing but branches, different branches. So we'll be showing you as well. So the status shows almost all the information, like whatever the things which are tracked, whatever the things which are not tracked, whatever the things which have been deleted, and all other information. And git config. So git config is nothing but it actually uses this command. I mean, we actually use this command when we wanted to connect to in two ways. One is when I wanted to put my own name and own email ID within my repository, I mean within my local repository, which says that Nani, there was a guy called Nani and his email ID is this one, and he is a person who was maintaining this repository. So to say that kind of information, we actually use git config. So let me just show you. Git clear. One second. Sorry, I just used git clear. It happens sometimes. Yeah. So what was the command I have to use? Git config. Okay. So git config. So we can put this flag, or we have a particular syntax. So if you use this particular flag called global, this will add that username and user email ID to all the repositories present in your computer. But if you don't use this flag, username and that email ID will be added only to that local repository. So for now, let me just use not only for that repository. I'm not going to use for the whole computer itself. Git config username. We have to remember, like for name we have to use user.name, and for email we have to use user.email. You will basically use this while connecting to GitHub if you are considering that you need to connect to GitHub. If not, these will be within your local repository and will help others to know that this person did these things. For example, who was that guy who asked a question to me? So Harshavardhan. So there is a repository created by Harshavardhan, and he added his name and his email ID. I copied his repository and I was doing some changes, but instead of making it a great project, I made it a worst project. So what I should do? I should either I should have made a copy, but the thing is I didn't even make a copy. So what we basically do is we can use this email ID and name so that we could get the person who actually did it, and we can take the help of him. So simple. That is the thing we actually use. So let me just add my name. Nani, and let me add my email ID as well. Yep. So I just added my email and name. I'm just trying. Okay, nice. So I just tried it. I don't remember the command which shows the email ID, but no problem. I'll just go on, because if that information will be present in this .git folder, so not a problem. Let me just close it. So git branch. So I think I have explained you. I mean, I think that I told about this branch thing. I mean, I told you what is the specialty of GitHub. So it is nothing but something called forking, where you can copy the project from somebody else and do your own modifications and send it back to him so that he can update them. So this thing to get happen, branching is the thing which is one of the most important concepts. So what we basically use is, we basically create branches. For example, now when I type on git status, it is saying the branch is master. Now let me use git branch apple. Yep. Now git. So I have created a branch right now. Yeah, I have created a branch called apple, but I'm still in the master branch. So what should I do? We'll go with the next command, which is nothing but git checkout. So one command is actually used to create a particular branch which can be used either by you or any other person. You just create the branch so that you could track that particular issue or particular new feature in your project. But the thing is, it doesn't mean that only you have to use it. Any person who has access to your project can use that branch and create his own branches as well. So I use this command called git checkout, and I already have a branch called apple, right? So I'm just checking it out. So now where am I? Type git status and you'll get to know. Initially I was at the master branch. I used the command called git checkout and the name of the branch which I have created earlier. If I didn't create this branch and if I try to commit, it will show an error. Let me just show you. Git checkout pro v1 something. See here, there was no file related to that particular project. I mean, here it is showing as file, but the thing is, it is actually a branch. So to show this, I have to go back to the same place where I have actually had my files. So where is that thing? See here, there is a file called apple, right? So this is a branch which I have created right now, and this is the SHA value of that particular branch through which it actually tracks each and every file. So I have two branches, master branch and apple branch, but I don't have any branch called pro v1. That was the reason it showed this error. You can solve this error in simpler way by using something called -b. So what it does is, it creates, since you have used -b, it will create a branch called pro v1 and it will directly go to that particular branch. It will create the branch and it will check out at the same time. So when I click on enter, see, now you can use git status to find out. So I'm on pro v1 branch. So is that clear, guys? Like how branching happens, like how to use that branch command and checkout command as well. Hello. Nice. So let me just show you, like I'll show the same diagram which I've shown you previously, but the thing is, this is the way where the people actually make is closed. Okay, there are no closed requests as well. Let me go to insights, network. Yep. So this was actually the graph where we have all different kinds of branches. So there are many people who actually copied my own repository and used it within their repository. Like this, they just made a merge request and they just added my code into their own code after pulling mine. So you can see here, like there are many people who are actually contributing to this particular project. This is not my own project though. This is the main project, Caboose slash phonograph. So I copied his project and I'm doing changes. And he even other people, like these many people, they are creating new branches, they are making work on it, and they are merging. like like here right away you can see my branch was merged with his branch. So in the same way, like, the diagram goes a bit messy, though I can understand, but the thing is, it, to be more simplistic, they are actually making different branches and making their own changes in that. And once they think that everything is fine and everything is working, they are adding it to the main branch again. So that is how a project basically works. So git branch is nothing but so you understood, right? So I'll go to the git merge. So simple. Merge is nothing but it merges two branches. I have created, for example, I have a Pro V1 branch, Apple branch, and master branch. Now I'll go to git checkout master. I'll git status. So right now you can see that I'm on a master branch. Now git, let me use the same command. So git merge branch name, that's it, no more extra stuff. So git merge Apple. I think it should return an error message. Oh no, nice. So what it does, it merged both, it merged that Apple thing into its master branch. Since I have created different branches but I didn't make any changes within that branch, so already up to date. Even if I use Pro V1, even they are up to date. Now you can see status, there are no changes because all the other branches were up to date. That's it. So for now we are done with all the local repositories. So whatever the commands which you have seen right now, they all belong to local repository. You need any internet connection to do this, or you don't actually make a bit of complicated stuff. You just make it as simple as possible. So now we will go to remote repository. So they are also called as server side repositories, which I have created right now. So I named it as server side. I don't know whether it's in Google also they have the same name or not. I just wanted to explain you more easy way. That is the reason I'm using it. So till now I think all of you understood about local repositories, right?
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro.
Nice to hear that. Don't worry, these commands and this PPT I'll just upload it in GitHub also, so you can just try it more and more. Like, all I wanted you guys is, you just have to break GitHub ka server, dude. Just try it. You do a lot of, you do practice in such a way that either you get frustrated or the GitHub server should get frustrated. Okay, so that is the way, that is the best way you could learn. So now we'll directly, since we have jumped to remote repositories, so the first command which we basically use is git remote. So what this does, since I'm using a server side or remote repository, first I need to create a remote repository. So let me just create a remote one in GitHub. Android rocks. I just have my name. These are the things which are important, but the thing is we don't basically focus on that. One of them is license, which says how your product can be used. If you use it copyright, only you have the access and people should pay you money for using your project. If it is a BSD license, they can't use it for commercial, but they can use it normally. And there is another one, GNU license. You can use it anywhere. Those are the main things which I remember, and there are a lot of licenses though. So right now I'm just copying this stuff, this link. Let me clear this again. Yep. Now, till now this was the local repository. Now I'm going to link this local repository into this GitHub repository, remote repository. So how I'm gonna do is, I'll use this command called git remote. Git remote add origin. Yo, so let me just tell you, git is the starting word which I have to use. Remote is nothing but I'm saying that to use a remote repository and connect it with the one which I have right now. So add is nothing but it is adding. What it is going to add? There is something called origin. So what is origin? I can say you it is similar to head, but the thing is origin is nothing but the starting point of the repository. So this link which I have, this is the origin, starting point of remote repository. Whatever the head you have seen, that is just a graph for the files. So it is a tree which has all the files and which tracks all the files. But here origin is nothing but the place where your remote repository actually sits. So I'm just adding a origin, and that is nothing but this link, so which I have created here. I can use SSH as well, but the thing is SSH is though secure, but I basically prefer HTTPS because I have been using it for the past 2 to 3 years, whereas Prashant will be using SSH more. So any of them, both of them works in the similar way. So yep, since for the first time I have added it, it is saying that it just added, but when I am trying to add it again, it is saying that we already have a origin. So this is one of the way where you actually prevent others from copying your code and not crediting you. When you use git pull and git push, that stuff, like when you download a code from other person, you can't change this origin as your own way. So you can change it by going into this folder, and there is something called, not this one, config, I think so. Yep, so this is the URL. You have to change it manually like this, but the thing is most of the people don't basically use that, like most of the people don't know about this. So what they can do is they can remove this particular file and then they can add their own origin. So for now, since I assume that I don't know about this thing, so I don't basically want to I try to copy it to my own repository, and I just wanted to give it my own ways of cracking it, but the thing is I already have an origin which is related to the original person who created it, so I cannot add it. So git remote helps in doing that thing. So it links my URL link, I mean the remote repository, with my local repository using this command git remote add origin is nothing but it adds the starting point, and that starting point is nothing but this link. Okay, so we'll go back to the next command. So git clone. So git clone is the special thing because this is the only command which you basically which you use to get someone else's code. For example, let me just show you a repository. Oh, right. So I have a project related to this is the smallest repository, so when I try to clone it, it will easily get copied. So see, you can use git clone, I mean you can clone with HTTPS, that is nothing but you can just use this command. I'm just copying it right away, copying it. You can download in this way also, you can download zip, but the thing is you have to download it and you have to extract it. Whereas if you use this command called, for now I just have b.b file, now I'm doing git clone and this is the link. So what it does is it will download the whole source code into your computer. Now I can see Nani 67. So cd, yep. Now I have my readme file. So yeah, I just have only one file here, so that is being shown. So if I have more number of lines and more number of code in that, a much amount of code, then everything will be seen over here. So you have to use this command in this way: git clone. Clone is nothing but copy, but the thing is you use the word clone, don't use the word copy, it will show an error. And this is the URL of that particular project which you want to copy. Okay, next, git pull. Till now, I mean right now I have copied all the code related to something a person called Nani. I just copied all the code of that person. Now I came to know that he actually did much more different changes, like okay, now I have to mess up my own readme file just to show you, but okay, not a problem. Yep, and sleeping. Okay, sleeping is my favorite though. So yep. So now we can see that I have made a small change over here. So there was something called and sleeping, but the thing is I just removed it right now. So what I am going to do is, if I use the git clone again, ls, so there was a file already, so I'll go back, and if I use git clone, see, there was a change happened in my file in that particular in the repository which that person made a change, but I am unable to copy it because I already have a folder called, I already have the repo called Nani 67. So what I have to do? So then you are not going to use git clone, instead you are going to use git pull. So now you can use git pull, the same yeah, git pull. Now we can see, right? Okay, okay, let me just do that command again, git pull on related histories. Why is it saying unrelated histories? Okay, let me just remove Nani 67 first. Let me do the git clone thing. Yep, and now let me just edit the file again. Yep. Now I have made a change. Now if I try to use git pull, refusing to merge unrelated histories. Okay, now I understood. So guys, this was a mistake which I actually did. I should actually go to that particular folder and then we have to use git pull. See here, so it actually updated. So guys, remember, when you are actually using git clone, you'll have the complete folder, repository downloaded onto your computer. And if you want to use git pull, you have to be inside that folder because the update should happen within that folder itself. So do you understand, guys? So using git clone, creates a repository, creates and all of the stuff, copies all the files. But using git pull, it actually updates all the files, and that is how we basically use. So git pull is very, you have to get into that folder and then use git pull. Okay. To be honest, I just made this mistake wantedly to get you understood. So git push. Now let me just show you what is git push. So I have a file called readme.md. So you can see that I have this much information. So I'll just remove this file. Yep, the repository is completely empty. Now, since I have removed this file and I have no trace of it, I will use git add dot. So now what it does is, okay, deleted file which is being shown correctly. Now git commit. So using these commands is very important. Like first I have to add the files or remove the file based on whatever the changes I have made. I should update it to the git, and then I have to use a message called remove file. Yep. And now I have to use git push origin, the starting point, and which branch should I make? Should I update it? Master. So my username is Nani67. Yeah. Yep. Now let me just reload. So there is no file called readme. Yep. I removed my file and there are no files right now. So that is what. So when you use git push, you are actually updating your changes to the remote repository. So there are a bit more commands which are actually advanced. So we can just, git log is nothing but it will show you all the logs. Git reset is nothing but it will go back to a particular reset, and git stash is nothing but it will remove all the files present in that particular. Okay, let me just show you. So git log. So these are the updates. This was the latest commit which I have made, and this was the previous one. So let me just copy. Yeah. So remember this one. This commit file, this long string, is the main thing which actually helps you get back to your old files. If you don't, this will definitely be there. So not a problem. So you can just go back to a particular commit whenever you want. So git log shows all the commits which are being happened. So yeah. And now after I use git log, now let me, okay, after I'll use git reset, after that we can use git stash. So git reset here first. So git reset is this string, whatever the deleted file which I had previously. Now let me just see. Yeah, unstage it changes, right? So git status. So what I did was, in the remote repository I have reset it. Like, let me just show you. When I reload it, you'll understand. So whatever the file, where is that here? Let me just do this command. Yep, I forgot to use this graph. So what happens is it is going back to the commit latest commit last commit which I have made. So right now this readmd cat readme.md, so it will show the file which I have deleted at the last time whenever I just before deleting. So whatever the commit was there, this was the SHA-1 value of that thing, and after using git reset command I was able to come back to the place where I have messed up. So now I have my file, and git add dot git commit, maybe using this might, yeah. So it was saying that my branch is behind master by one commit, so I have to use git pull origin. Yeah. Okay. Git status. Okay, it is saying to update your local branch with master. Okay, the problem was when I used git reset and this particular SHA, that is being reflected within the local repository which I have copied, but not in the remote repository, because that thing should be changed by the owner of that project, whereas this going back to a particular thing can happen within my own place, because I was the one who has the code right now and I am the one who is actually working on it. Okay, so when you wanted to go back to a particular thing, you can use git reset hard, but if you want to make that changes to reflect to that particular place, you should actually use a pull request to that person so that he can verify the code and he can update it. So for now let me just git pull origin is nothing but it's similar to typing the whole link, so that origin is equal to this particular link, you can simply call it. Yep, touch dot md. Now we have used git add command, right? So when I just check the status, it is saying that this particular file has been created, and this is actually in the staged position where I didn't commit, but the thing is I have added it. So what if I want to remove that additions which I have made, and what if I want to go back within that particular commit? So what I can do is git stash whatever the changes are committed, I mean whatever the changes are within the staged place, that will be reverted back. So when I see here, so when I had the file previously, now if I check it out, there is no file, because I have created a file, I have added it to the local repository, like in that particular staging area, but the thing is whatever the changes which I have made within the staging area, I just want to remove them again. So I used git stash, so whatever was there in that particular staging area, those will be sent directly to recycle bin and they will be deleted right away. So I just went back one step within that, but I didn't even use commit then. Okay, I didn't even use any git commit thing, but the thing is I just went back because I thought this file was useless. That's it. So we have a lot of commands like git diff, git something, I don't remember all the commands because I don't basically use them. So I hope that's it, guys. So we have many commands, but these are the important ones. If you want me to explain them, I can, which is nothing but I should learn some of those commands. but that might go over your head. Simply, to be honest, it was over my head also. That was the reason I didn't learn all of them. But if you are curious and if you just wanted to get explanation about that as well, I can help you out. But the thing is, we don't use them. We rarely use them, or we don't even use them. So thank you guys.